When Robyn Smith-Astaire sets herself a goal, it's usually one the cynics like to think she'll never achieve. Most of her life, she's been proving them wrong. The cynics had just about given up by the time she embarked on her latest venture of flying helicopters. Widowed in 1987, Robyn knew she had to find a new mountain to climb.
All my life, I probably expected more out of myself than I should, but I've attained most everything I've ever wanted to do, and if I get into something, I definitely expect to be on the top of whatever it is that I enter into.
Robyn does nothing in half measures. She owns her own helicopter and has already logged more than 250 hours in the air.
I love it. I take the doors off of my helicopter because most of the days here in California are beautiful and warm, and it's the closest thing to being a bird, I think, because I fly about 500 feet over Beverly Hills, Los Angeles, and there's so much freedom involved. I love it. The only problem with a helicopter is I don't fly it to applause like I did when I was riding racehorses. I miss that.
North C is third by a length and 3/4. Vert T is fourth.
Applause was no stranger to Robyn Smith during her 10 years as a professional jockey. With fierce determination and a God-given talent, she almost single-handedly pioneered the cause of America's female jockeys. At first, she couldn't even get a ride on the training track. In the end, she was mixing it with the best in big stakes races like the Westchester Handicap at New York's famous Aqueduct track. In fact, in 1973, she won 2 major stakes races on North Sea in the space of 4 weeks.
Into the final furlong, North Sea on the outside, inching up, taking the lead. Forage along the rail, right there second. 70 yards from the finish, it's North Sea in front.
Oh, finally, it was such a relief, and I was so happy for the owner. I was always happy for the trainers and owners if I won with their horses because they had taken a chance on putting me on the horse.
At 5 feet 7 or 170 centimetres, Robyn was taller than the average jockey, but still managed to look stylish in the saddle. She had it all: poise, balance, strength, and stunningly good looks. Looks that made her a favourite with the sports photographers, and on one occasion she actually landed on the cover of Sports Illustrated, an honour that made her the envy of many a top sports person. In one way, those good looks were a drawback.
It was detrimental to me, if you want to know the truth, getting into racing, because no one would take me seriously. And I'd been modeling a little bit before I got into racing, and people thought it was just for a lark, you know, for publicity, or it was very difficult to prove how serious I was.
I think there would have been several other things in life that you would have done well by the same token.
I don't like to lose, and I've been very fortunate. As I say, I was able to, given an opportunity to ride racehorses, I was given the wonderful opportunity to marry this great, wonderful man, my husband, Fred Astaire, who died much too soon.
I'll be there, putting down my top hat, mussing up my white tie, dancing in my tail.
Fred Astaire, suave, graceful, and elegant. According to the experts, the supreme song and dance man of the century. For 3 decades, he sang and danced his way through 30 musical movies and dozens of hit songs created by America's most famous composers. But the world remembers him best for a remarkable 10-picture partnership with Ginger Rogers. Even today, students at dancing classes the world over are inspired by the indefinable magic of Fred and Ginger. Robyn's personal favourite is one of Fred's better-known solos. Many detractors thought Robyn was putting on the Ritz when it became obvious her friendship with Astaire had blossomed into romance.
We were so madly in love with each other, and we really had nothing to do with it. It was meant to happen. It was fate. It was one of those things that, and it's interesting because I never thought I'd get married. I had nothing against marriage, but racing was my #1 love, and finally it was displaced by Fred, where racing became #2. That's when I knew it was time to retire also.
Robyn, how tough was it to be married to a legend? Not just an American legend, a worldwide legend. I'm sure you realise that his fame has spread to every corner of the world.
I did after I married him.
Was that a little frightening?
No, I expected it. Here we go again. I expected it. No, I fit right in because I had had so much publicity in racing, so I was used to the camera and everything, except I used to tease him and say, I don't know if I like taking second stand here to you, because everyone loved Fred and the cameras would come in, and I was teasing him, of course. It was kind of a relief not to have the cameras shoved in my face all the time. But the only way it was tough is that Fred, because of who he was and as loved as he was, could never have privacy.
Fred wasn't keen for his new wife to continue in the hazardous business of riding racehorses.
He really would fret if I'd go to the races and ride, that something would happen. So, and it was time. It wasn't. I had had 10 years in racing, and the timing was right for me to quit also. But I miss it immensely.